Hello, I'm Jeff Thomas. I'm Director of Agent Relations at the Small Business Association of Michigan. Here today with Michelle Beebe, our Chief Revenue Officer. And the reason that we are broadcasting is because we have a new service that we're both very excited about. That service is Composite Rating, which will be rolled out for effective dates of March 1 and beyond. And Michelle, could you give us an overview of what composite rating is and why it's so important to the small business community?
Absolutely. We've been working on this kind of top secret for the last 8 months or so to get this rolled out, and have been currently in a pilot for the last couple of months, starting small before we launched it for March 1st. And so what is it, right? What is composite rating? This is an insurance buzzword that maybe only those of us that live in the insurance world even understand. But when ACA became mandatory back in 2010, there was the requirement that all small group, so that would be anybody that has less than 50 employees enrolled, would have to be what we call age band rated. Age band rated means that Jeff and I could both enroll as a single. Obviously, I'm 25, Jeff's 45, and so that we would have different rates, even though we're both singles working at the same job, but our insurance rates were going to be significantly different because, again, 25, 45. And so when making it incredibly difficult for employers to have an equitable contribution towards premium. Very difficult because Jeff's not any less important than I am. Just because he has a little more wisdom doesn't mean that he doesn't deserve to have the same amount of contribution to his plan. And so we recognize, and you insurance agents, you've been doing this behind the scenes for years, but we wanted to really make it a real solid solution that we can set up one of our small business customers that are enrolled with Blue Cross and Blue Care Network. We can set their current census up in a consolidated bill fashion and transpose those rates into a composite formula, meaning that all the singles have one rate, all of the two persons and all of the families have one flat rate. So it doesn't matter that Jeff and I are both single and we have different rates, we're both going to get charged the same rate. So then the employer can then say, okay, then for all of my singles, I'm going to contribute $300, and all of us get the same, payroll deduction. All of those things are coming out in the same way. And then the magic sauce is not only that we're calculating that, but we're actually putting it into your bill. So instead of still doing this behind the scenes, but then you get an age banded bill from the carrier, from Blue Cross or Blue Care Network, then the employer has to recalculate when that bill comes in and do that math. In this particular case, the bill is going to match that contribution strategy, and it's going to allow for the employer to just pay the bill as is and move along their way and not have to do any of those back end calculations. SBAM, our staff ourselves, we're very much doing this manually behind the scenes, and our HR staff members were saying that it would take her almost 4 hours every time she did payroll to recalculate the contribution based on the age banding, and especially if someone had any kind of qualifying life event, Jeff gets married to a hot chick or any of those kinds of things that kind of change that. So we're super excited about this.
So this is only for groups that are with Blue Cross and that are sponsored by SBAM, because we're doing the consolidated bill. What actually goes on behind the scenes? What information do we need to receive up front in order to prepare the composite rate?
So it depends. So if it's a new business case and you're writing it with Blue Cross for the first time, what we need you to do is to make sure that your paperwork, when you submit that into OneSource, that you're choosing the sponsorship of SBAM, so that group is going to show up in our bill file. And then once it shows up in our end, after you've done that, there's an agreement that we're going to send some links out to on our website. There's an agreement between us and the employer, that they understand that these rates are going to be calculated on a composite calculator based on the most current census, that their potential, if they logged into their Blue Cross account and looked at their e-billing, that's going to still be age banded. So those rates, our bill and Blue Cross's bill is not going to match. So they understand that. So that agreement lays all of that out. And then from there, we just need a copy of the current census. And then if the agent or the employer has used our composite rating calculator, which we have one that we can share with you, then what you came up with what those quoted rates and composite rates were going to be based on your decision. So all of that is exactly the same if it's an existing group that's enrolled with Blue Cross. The only change is if they're not currently with SBAM's plan, we will need a rollover letter that rolls them into SBAM's plan so we can get them in our bill file and make this recalculation for them. So all of that takes about 30 days to take place in Blue Cross's systems before we'll be able to make that calculation. Again, we're going to put some links in there for us, but at the very least, you want to be able to send an email to harmonybill@sbam.org, and there's experts there that are waiting to help. Jeff and I are available if you want to talk more about how this all works. But it's, again, a 30-day lead time. If you're writing it for new business, Mr. and Mrs. Agent, if you could certainly give us that information on the front end, because then we can prep Blue Cross, because Blue Cross is partnering with us really tightly on this. Let them know what groups that are expected, and we'll make sure that they're in that first month bill file. So that very first experience is as clean as possible.
Speaking of the experience, what are we charging for the experience?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. But they do have to be an active member, at least at the basic level of the organization, in order to be eligible for this. So
at the minimum, we're getting a membership if we didn't previously have one. So that new member, when they are in our consolidated bill, they have a small fee, a monthly billing fee or a monthly consolidated bill fee. And that's the charge for the program.
Yep.
So any existing client that is already in those, it's already a member and already has our bill, there's no charge for them to change
Correct.
to composite rate.
Not at all.
Very good.
Yep. So we're really excited about this. I think one of the other biggest questions that I get when I've been talking to brokers and about this change is, what if they have a census change? What if one of the employees leaves, or one of them does get married? What does that look like? Because the rates behind the Blue Cross system are going to change, right? So SBAM's still going to get charged whatever based on those age banded rates. SBAM's decided to take the risk on of taking if it's to the good or to the bad, I guess is the best way to say that. So based on, you can have an adjustment to the census that could lower rates or can make them higher. And we've decided that we're going to take the risk on. We're going to make Blue Cross whole no matter what is getting billed. So there will be no issue as far as making sure that Blue Cross has the right money. So contracts are active, claims are paid, all of that stuff is going to be business as usual. Blue Cross bills us this amount. This is how much SBAM pays them. So what we'll do is, if there's a significant change in the census, or things just look okay, either way, we're going to do a 6-month check, just to check in with each other. What do the rates look like now? What do they look like when at the beginning of the year? Do we want to keep them how they are, or do we want to do a reset based on what's adjusted in the rates? And then we'll be communicating with you through the agent channel and with the employer to make sure that we're making those decisions together. But the good news is we're not changing it every month based on any census changes. If Jeff does get married, he's going to pay the 2-person rate that was based on that census right from the beginning of the year, and that's not going to make any adjustments to those people that are already two persons that have been enrolled. So it's I think a great way for us to be able to protect you, and a great way for us to protect ourselves through this process.
So just to recap, we're offering this as a service to our customers that are on our consolidated bill. It's no additional expense, and there's just a contract that includes that 6-month look back that you just discussed. And a census is required, and the current Blue Cross bill, if it's an existing Blue case or that we are on the case from the beginning.
Correct.
All right, very good.
And hopefully, if they're not a member of SBAM today, they're gonna learn about all the other value adds besides this composite rating option that we do for Michigan small business today. We have about 33,000 plus members today and growing, and it's our job to continue to stay in front of the curve to offer the best solutions we can, not only in the employee benefit space, but in all of our member benefits.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank
I'm sure
you.
it'll be a big hit.
Give us a call.
Yes.
See
Please
you
do.
later.
All right.